everyone, ready for something really cool.
Okay.
Today we're exploring Merlin.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's this Bitcoin project that's just been like exploding in popularity.
Hmm.
And their whole vibe is make Bitcoin fun again.
Interesting.
So we're going to be breaking down an interview with Merlin's founder from the DeFi Dad YouTube channel.
Okay.
And we'll see if this project really lives up to the hype.
Yeah, fun isn't a word you usually hear thrown around in like the Bitcoin world.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the founder's background is really interesting.
Okay.
He actually came from like the Web 2 startup world, not crypto at all.
Interesting.
He'd been into Bitcoin for a while,
Yeah.
but things really clicked for him with the whole ordinals craze, specifically this thing called BMAPs.
Yes, those are pretty novel.
Yeah.
For those not familiar, ordinals let you basically write data onto individual Satoshis,
Right.
like the tiniest little bits of a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And BMAPs take that even further and assign like a unique asset to each block on the Bitcoin blockchain.
Right.
Imagine like giving each block its own digital fingerprint.
Exactly. And the founders saw that as like a springboard for a whole new kind of building on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Very grassroots, driven by what the community wants, not dictated from the top down.
Right.
He even contrasted it with how Ethereum often feels,
Oh, interesting.
where it's more about like developers' visions being rolled out to users.
Yeah, that's a really important point.
Right.
That difference in philosophy is at the heart of what Merlin's trying to do.
Okay, now buckle up.
Okay.
Because here's where the technical stuff comes in, but we'll try to keep it clear.
Okay.
Merlin is technically a sidechain,
Uh-huh.
but they embrace the layer 2 label.
Okay.
Think of it like this. Bitcoin's the main highway, super secure, but can get congested.
Mm-hmm.
A sidechain is like a separate highway branching off, lets you move faster, but has its own rules and security.
And with Bitcoin's setup, building a true layer 2 that directly inherits Bitcoin's security is a huge challenge right now. Merlin's approach is more like, let's solve the problems users are facing today and build towards that ideal future.
So sidechain or L2, what matters for you is, does Merlin actually make things better?
Right.
And they've got some features that are getting people excited.
Okay.
First, it's compatible with all the Ethereum tools that you might already use, like MetaMask.
Oh.
So no need to learn something totally new.
That ease of use is huge for bringing people over from the Ethereum world.
Then you can bridge over your Bitcoin assets onto Merlin.
Hmm.
Not just regular Bitcoin, but also these newer things like ordinals and BRC20 tokens.
Which means you can start using those assets in DeFi, which wasn't really possible before.
Right.
Things like trading, lending, earning interest,
Yeah.
all that fun stuff, but using your Bitcoin holdings.
The founder calls Merlin a liquidity hub.
Okay.
Basically, it's becoming the place to trade all these different Bitcoin assets.
Yeah.
And that's what's been driving its crazy growth.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking over $2 billion in total value locked in just a few months.
And what's remarkable is it's not just big investors or venture capitalists piling in.
Right.
It's everyday users who are excited about the potential.
Hmm.
This founder had a following from his earlier projects.
Yeah.
There's clearly a demand for more ways to use Bitcoin, and Merlin's meeting that need.
And to give you a sense of what's happening on Merlin, there are already dApps.
Okay.
Those are decentralized apps,
Right.
like a decentralized exchange for swapping tokens.
Okay.
A platform called Surf for a type of trading called perpetuals.
Which, by the way, is like betting on whether the price of Bitcoin will go up or down
Yeah.
without actually buying or selling Bitcoin.
Exactly. And then there's SALVE,
Okay.
which lets you earn extra rewards by restaking certain assets.
It seems like Merlin's focusing on core DeFi tools first, building that solid foundation before getting into more experimental stuff.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I find fascinating.
Okay.
The founder keeps hammering on this make Bitcoin fun again idea. It's like a direct contrast to the super serious,
Yeah.
sometimes almost political vibe you get in a lot of crypto.
It's definitely unique.
Right.
It suggests they're not just targeting the hardcore Bitcoin crowd,
Right?
but trying to open it up to people who might have been intimidated before.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if it'll attract a whole new wave of users, or maybe alienate some of the old guard.
That's a good question to think about.
Yeah.
Does this fun factor make you more or less interested in Merlin? We'll come back to that later.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Merlin.
Okay.
We've seen how this Bitcoin sidechain is trying to shake things up.
Yeah.
But now let's get a little more hands-on with the tech behind it.
Right. We've been using that like separate highway analogy, but
Right.
how does this sidechain actually connect back to the main Bitcoin road?
So Merlin uses something called a federated peg to link up with Bitcoin.
Okay.
Imagine there's a group of trusted guards
Hmm.
controlling a bridge between the two highways. These guards are called validators,
Okay.
and they have the power to issue Merlin Bitcoin that represents your real Bitcoin while you're on the Merlin sidechain.
So if I want to use Merlin,
Yeah.
I hand my Bitcoin over to these validators.
Right.
And they give me the equivalent in Merlin Bitcoin to use within the Merlin ecosystem.
Exactly. And when you're done and want to go back to the main Bitcoin highway,
Okay.
you reverse the process.
Hmm.
Your Merlin Bitcoin is burned,
Okay.
and the validators release your original Bitcoin back to you.
Okay, so the security of my Bitcoin while I'm using Merlin rests on these validators.
Right.
It's not directly protected by the same massive network that secures the main Bitcoin blockchain.
That's the trade-off Merlin makes for speed and flexibility.
Okay.
They are prioritizing user experience and rapid development,
Right.
which can be harder to achieve if you're strictly bound by Bitcoin's base layer rules.
Now, the founder mentioned something about ZK proofs being generated constantly and shared with other blockchains.
Right.
What's the deal with that?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it shows how Merlin's trying to balance things.
Okay.
Think of ZK proofs as a way to prove something is true without revealing all the details.
Hmm.
In Merlin's case, they use these proofs to create a verifiable record of everything happening on their sidechain.
So like a public ledger,
Yeah,
but not on the main Bitcoin blockchain itself.
exactly. It's a way to increase transparency.
Okay.
Even though the validators control the bridge,
Right.
they can't mess around without leaving a trail of evidence that anyone can check.
That's pretty clever.
Yeah.
It doesn't fully eliminate the reliance on those validators,
Right.
but it adds a layer of accountability.
Right.
Still, can any sidechain truly be as secure as Bitcoin itself?
That's the big debate.
Yeah.
Even the founder admits that true layer 2s that share Bitcoin security would be ideal,
Right.
but they're incredibly hard to build with Bitcoin's current technology.
He seems to see sidechains like Merlin as a stepping stone,
Yeah.
a way to get things moving and attract users while the tech for those more secure solutions catches up.
It's a practical approach, but it's super important for anyone using Merlin to understand the trade-offs.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting speed and features,
Right.
but you're trusting those validators to play by the rules.
Got it. So where does Merlin go from here?
Right.
The founder talked about decentralizing the validators
Huh.
and exploring something called roll-ups.
Right.
What does that mean for the future of the platform?
Decentralizing validators would be a huge step.
Okay.
Right now, it's a relatively small group controlling the bridge,
Hmm.
opening it up to anyone who meets certain criteria.
Okay.
Kind of like Bitcoin mining
Yeah.
would make it much harder for any one person or group to compromise things.
So spreading the power out, making it more resilient.
Exactly.
What about these roll-ups?
Rollups are a super interesting scaling technology
Okay.
that's been gaining traction,
Yeah.
especially on Ethereum. Imagine bundling a bunch of transactions together off-chain,
Okay.
then submitting just one proof to the main blockchain.
Hmm.
It's a way to handle way more transactions without sacrificing security.
So more efficiency, lower costs,
Right,
and you still get the security benefits of the main chain.
right.
Okay.
The founder even mentioned exploring rollups that work with other DERs,
Okay.
basically platforms for running smart contracts.
Right.
It sounds like they're thinking beyond just Bitcoin and Ethereum, envisioning Merlin as a bridge between all sorts of different blockchain ecosystems.
Wow, that's a big vision.
Yeah.
Connecting different chains,
Right.
making it seamless to move assets between them.
Right.
It's still early days.
Yeah.
But the team behind Merlin has shown they can move fast and adapt.
It'll be fascinating to see how they handle the challenges ahead.
Yeah.
Can they actually pull off this make Bitcoin fun again thing
Right.
in a way that's both fun and secure?
Right.
That's the big question.
Definitely a lot to watch as this unfolds. Well, that wraps up part 2 of our deep dive.
Okay.
We've gotten into the nitty-gritty of Merlin's technology,
Right.
exploring how it works, where it excels,
Yeah.
and what risks to be aware of. All right, welcome back for the final stretch of our Merlin deep dive.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground,
Yeah, for sure.
from the tech under the hood
Right.
to the whole make Bitcoin fun again philosophy.
It's been quite the journey. But now I'm curious,
Yeah.
what does Merlin's rapid rise, hitting billions of dollars in value, lock so quickly?
Yeah.
What does that tell us about where the Bitcoin world is headed?
Yeah, it definitely feels like a sign
Mm-hmm.
that people are hungry for more than just holding onto their Bitcoin.
Yeah.
They want to use it,
Right.
participate in DeFi,
Mm.
explore new applications, and they're willing to go beyond Bitcoin's original limitations to do that.
It challenges that old image of Bitcoin as just digital gold sitting in a vault.
Right.
Merlin and projects like it are saying, hey, Bitcoin can be a platform for innovation too.
Yeah. And they're doing it in a way that feels very true to Bitcoin's roots.
Mm.
It's all about the community,
Yeah.
experimenting, pushing boundaries,
Right.
and putting users in control.
Yeah. You remember when the founder was talking about building those on-chain games
Yes!
where players actually own their in-game items?
That's such a cool idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It embodies that unstoppable fun concept he keeps mentioning.
Mm.
Now, it's worth pointing out that Merlin isn't the only one trying to build on top of Bitcoin.
Right.
There's Stacks,
Yes.
RSK, Liquid.
Yeah.
Even the Lightning Network can be considered a layer 2 in some ways.
Right.
So how does Merlin fit into that landscape?
Yeah.
What makes it different?
Well, for starters, that focus on being compatible with Ethereum tools, you can just use MetaMask, no need to learn something totally new.
Right.
That makes it way easier for people already familiar with DeFi
Yeah.
to jump in and start exploring.
That's a smart move.
Yeah.
Lowering the barrier to entry can make a big difference in attracting users.
Right.
And Merlin's been really aggressive about bridging over all those different Bitcoin assets,
Mhm.
BRC20 tokens, ordinals.
Right.
It's become this central hub for trading them, which has definitely fueled their growth.
And then there's that whole vibe they've got going on that
Yeah.
make Bitcoin fun again thing.
Yeah.
It's such a contrast to the more serious, sometimes even ideological tone you see in a lot of the Bitcoin space.
Yeah, it's definitely unique.
Yeah, Merlin's like, let's make this fun and accessible to everyone.
It's a risky strategy, for sure.
Yeah.
It could attract a whole new wave of users who find traditional DeFi intimidating.
Right.
But it might also rub some of the Bitcoin purists the wrong way.
Yeah.
Only time will tell how it plays out.
So for you listening, what does this all mean?
Right.
Should you jump in and start exploring Merlin? As with anything in crypto, there are potential rewards,
Yeah.
but also risks to consider.
On the plus side, you have the chance to be an early adopter in a rapidly growing ecosystem. You could find new opportunities in DeFi,
Yeah.
earn yield on your Bitcoin,
Right.
maybe even discover the next big thing in BRC20s or ordinals.
And you'd be part of this movement that's pushing the boundaries of what Bitcoin can do, shaping its future.
But it's crucial to remember that Merlin is still a young project.
Right.
There's that inherent risk with any sidechain,
Yeah.
relying on those validators rather than Bitcoin's own security model.
And while the team has been super active in addressing community concerns and making improvements,
Yeah.
there's always the possibility of unforeseen technical challenges or vulnerabilities popping up.
Plus, the crypto market as a whole is a wild ride.
Yeah.
Merlin's success is tied to the overall health of Bitcoin and the DeFi space,
Right.
which can be unpredictable, to say the least.
So, as always in the crypto world, do your own research.
Yeah.
Check out Merlin's website, read their documentation,
Right.
see what people are saying on social media.
Engage with the community.
Yeah.
Ask questions.
Right.
And then make an informed decision based on your own comfort level with risk and your investment goals.
Well, that brings our Merlin deep dive to a close.
It has.
We've explored its backstory, the technology, the potential,
Yeah.
and where it fits into the bigger picture of Bitcoin and DeFi.
We've thrown a lot of information your way.
Yeah, we have.
But now it's time for you to take the reins.
Right.
What resonated with you the most during this deep dive? What questions are still swirling in your mind?
Yeah, we encourage you to keep exploring. Head over to Merlin's website, check out their growing ecosystem of dApps,
Yeah.
and see for yourself if this vision of a more fun, engaging Bitcoin speaks to you.
Right.
Who knows, you might just discover that the future of Bitcoin is more exciting than you ever imagined.
That's right.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.